The undead of Orlando, Florida, walk the streets at night, appearing much like the rest, accepting their reflections conspicuously.
What's up, YouTube? So, coming on to do another review today. So, this is the Auldey Demon S. This is a Blazing Teams level 5, just like the Frozen Blade. And wanted to do a review, give you my 2 cents on it. So, just got this in the mail. Did not come with a box. Paid $12 for this, so I think it came as a B grade. Can't find the specs online, which sucks. So we're gonna wing it sort of without the specs. Basically, this is Aldi's level 5, VW type shaped yo-yo, and let's talk about it a little bit. So, like I had mentioned, this didn't come with a box, and I wasn't sure that I was buying a B grade. I didn't know that. I was just like, oh, that's the one that's left. That's $12. And so it comes with a pretty nasty wobble. And as you can see, the yo-yo is turning and doesn't like to be thrown straight. Now, I've kind of always found Aldi as sort of a hit and miss kind of company anyway. And I'm not sure how they let stuff like this get out into the market, but again, I bought it on AliExpress, so maybe that's my fault. For $12, it's not terrible because I didn't spend much money on it, but at the same time, I don't know. I was kind of hoping it would be closer to how cool the Frozen Blade was as opposed to this. So let's talk about the shape a little bit. So it's clearly just a pretty generic W shape. It is more or less just kind of a bigger version, just slightly, than the checkpoint. So here it is next to the checkpoint. You can see the shapes are kind of similar. This wing kind of flares a little more. These are not steel rims. That's just polished aluminum rims. It kind of gives it a cool look, but at the same time, it doesn't really affect anything. It doesn't really do anything. It's just kind of they're there for looks. It kind of makes it kind of gaudy, I think, which is I guess that's Aldi's thing. See, there's mirrors there. So it's kind of like a checkpoint, except a little more basic looking. And at the same time, it's also sort of, not quite. You can see the rims are a lot more flared than the Protostar. So it's very much like just kind of a V with a little bump in it. And kind of a sharper, it's not sharp, but like the edge kind of comes to more of a point so much, whereas this kind of rounds down, where this edge comes to a point. Now, in my opinion, this shape is boring. This is a pretty basic shape anyway, and there's a lot more going on with this. This just kind of feels like a cheaper, less interesting version of a yo-yo that's, that plays great and is super cool, but it's not, it's nothing really all that special anyway. This is kind of a, like, cheaper, less good version of that. So, when I first got that, I was kind of like, when I first got it and pulled it out, I was like, well, it's not for $12. I shouldn't expect it to be a lot better than that, but at the same time, like, I feel like it could have been a little bit better. Like I said, the Frozen Blade wasn't. I think that was 14 or 15. It was much cooler. Lots of better, just more unique. Felt more interesting. This is kind of boring. Because it's so wide and because it flares up so much. You would think it would be more stable, especially because of how big these rims are, and maybe it's just because I got a B grade. But it's easy to knock off axis. It doesn't want to stay on axis so much. And as I showed you when it spun, it kind of, it's hard to throw it sitting down anyway, but it just doesn't stay It vibes real hard. You can maybe even hear the vibe. You just it's like it's going. Trying to like stabilize it. And it doesn't want to do that. So yeah, this one's pretty and it again, that's probably just because this one's a B grade, but at the same time it's I don't know how you let something like this get out in the open, because the B grade it looked great. That's the one thing about this yo-yo that I can say. The splash is cool. Sorry, the lighting back here sucks, but everybody's asleep, so kind of came back here. The splash is cool, and those polished rims kind of look neat, but they didn't really add anything to it. I kind of just wish it would have been this solid splash, because I really just think they take away from the splash finish. Let's pop it apart, and you see what I mean by it being a B grade. So it's got the standard Auldey pads, which I don't like for two reasons. One, it says Auldey raised up on them, and that kind of, you can feel it on the string, the word Auldey. I don't like that. It just doesn't, it feels wrong. It feels like it's broken, or like there's something in there, and it doesn't feel right. So I don't like that. The finish is very nice. It's like a blasted matte finish, and the splash on it looks good. This yo-yo definitely looks good, which is fun, which is good because it just sits in the case because it's uninspiring to play. Here's, I think, where the B grade of it comes in. Notice how I just pulled the bearing out. This is a Chinese yo-yo, and all the yo-yos particularly aren't supposed to. You're not supposed to be able to pull the bearing out like that. You're just not. This bearing should be stuck in the seat real tight. The bearing spins great. The bearing spins great. And it's loose. You can pull it right out of the seat. This side, yeah, that side too. Which, for a lot of yo-yos would be good, but I'm pretty certain that all the yo-yos aren't designed like that. This kind of moves around in the seat a little bit too. And there's really nothing in there inhibiting it. I just don't think it fits right. I just don't think the seats are cut right. So I think that's why it's a B grade, and I think that's why it wobbles a little bit. The axle's nice. It's a little bit short, but nice steel axle with the hex head on it there. So, has all the makings of what should be a decent, cheap import yo-yo. But the fact that it's a B grade kind of takes away a little bit. Now, I can get past the vibe. The vibe doesn't bother me so much. It's really just that it's kind of, for such a basic shape, they really didn't do anything with it. And I understand it's a yo-yo for like a kid's TV show. And, they're making them en masse on the cheap. But, I feel like they could have done something. They've done something with other Blazing Teams yo-yo. They could have done something with this. Now this one came with the hub stacks that you can clip in, and the lights will also clip into this as well. So I think that's a thing with these, and maybe that's why it's very basic, so that you clip the things in. But if you clip the things in, it makes the yo-yo really heavy. And because this was already a B grade, clipping things in that also spun that weren't part of the yo-yo really just made it play bad. So I wasn't real keen on those either. So I don't know. For this, if you really like the shape for whatever reason, or you just want kind of a plain shape like this, I think the non-B grade versions are like $18 or $20 or something. Can't say that I'd recommend spending that much on it, or buying it at all, really. Even the $12 one here that I have, it's mostly just going to sit in a case and look pretty, because it does look pretty, but it's mostly just going to sit in a case and look pretty. But anyway, guys, that's it for me tonight. Hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Do you have one of these? Did you get a B grade and not know it was a B grade when you ordered it? Let me know in the comments. But like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Cheers to you. And we'll see you next time.